What's My Line? Brought to you by the Institute of Life Insurance on behalf of the life insurance companies in America and their agents trained to help you make the most of your policies. And now let's all play What's My Line? And now, live from New York, let's meet our What's My Line panel. First, the delightful star of the Broadway smash hit Dinner at 8, Miss Arlene Francis.
And now, a friendly gentleman who has just completed the musical score for a new picture called A Man Called Dagger. And he is the host of I've Got a Secret, Mr. Steve Allen.
Thank you. Now, I'd like to introduce a young lady with a great many strings to her bow. She's an author of bestsellers, editor of Cosmopolitan Magazine, bon vivant, eminent Viennese medical authority, and all sorts of things. Here she is, all three of her, Helen Gurley Brown.
And this panelist is so many things. He's a publisher, an author, a TV personality, a lecturer, and Time Magazine's Christmas cover boy, Mr. Bennett, Cerf.
What's this Viennese medical authority business?
I don't know. I didn't know it was me.
I'm hoping I'm going to get on the cover of Cosmopolitan someday.
Oh, wonderful.
Well, here is New York's best imitation of Santa Claus, which will give you some idea of how hard up we are around here. John Francis Kris Kringle Daly.
I don't know. I was full of the spirit of the season, was going to say nice things about him, too. Nice things I was going to say. We did get a telephone call a little bit ago, Bennett. I didn't get who it was from, but it was somebody calling from Columbus, Georgia, who'd read the cover story in the Current Time about you. And the message sent was that people who ride a wave of prosperity are actually surfing. Don't get it, huh? I'll explain it to you afterwards.
Thank you.
Really, it's quite good. Yes, rather. And may I say, Miss Brown, nice to have you here. Steve, it's a Christmas present for us to have an old and trusted and dear and valued friend like you back just before Christmas gets you. How's your cold?
John. My pleasure. Thank you.
How's your cold?
It's clearing up.
See, Bennett didn't realize. I know why you wanted that Viennese medical authority there. Steve's got a cold. He wants a doctor to sit next to.
Created my own.
Well, we've got some wonderful occupations for you to test your skills on tonight. We'll have a famous mystery guest a little bit later in the program, but now let's meet our first contestant. Will you enter and sign in, please? Jehan Waba, is that right? Thank you. I thought my Arabic was rather good, too. Yes, you have a very fine hand, I might also add.
Thank you.
Would you tell us, is it Miss or Mrs. Waba? Miss Waba. Where are you from?
Cairo, Egypt.
From Cairo. Ah, that's a wonderful city. I've been there several times, and I must say it's a fascinating city, full of life and spirit. Nice to have you with us. Miss Waba, may I present the panel? Now, would you join me over here, please? And we'll let the audience in the theater and the audience at home know exactly what your line is. All right. Panel, we can tell you that Miss Waba is salaried and deals in a service, and we'll begin things with Steve Allen.
John, I've been on this program now, man and boy, about 16 years, and I've never before done what I would classify as a Bennett Cerf type pun. I'm going to do one right now. You ready, Bennett?
No.
I'll just put it this way. Miss Waba, you're a doll. A Waba doll. I have the genre down, I think.
Well-
Would your service be of equal interest to men and women, Miss Waba?
Yes.
Do you dress as you do now when you perform your service?
No.
1 down and 9 to go. Miss Brown.
Could it be said you wear some kind of costume when you're performing your service?
Well, costume or uniform, yes. We use the terms interchangeably, so that would be fine.
Do you work indoors?
Sometimes.
Is any of your work seasonal? Is it more performed in the winter than in the summer?
No.
No, it's not seasonal. 2 down and 8 to go, Mr. Cerf.
Miss Waba, do you work for a profit-making organization?
No.
You don't.
3 down and 7 to go, Miss Francis.
Then you work for some branch of the government?
Yes.
Is the outfit that you wear an outfit that belongs to any of the armed service?
No.
4 down and 6 to go, Mr. Allen.
Can people ever be made unhappy as a result of your professional function?
No.
5 down and 5 to go, Helen Gurley Brown.
Do you perform this service in the United States now?
No.
6 down and 4 to go, Mr. Cerf.
Do you perform the service in Egypt, Miss Waba?
Yes.
Has it got anything to do with tourism?
Yes.
Would it be anything in the line of guiding?
Yes.
Do I have to know where you guide people?
Well, Bennett, I would say,
Would
in
it be either
fairness,
on the
we should
Nile
say-
or around the pyramids?
Right, that's what we were looking for. Very good. Miss Waba is a guide at the pyramids. Actually, they have sound and light, magnificent sound and light performances at the three best-known pyramids. And Miss Waba, who is a historian, I guess we'd have to call you, too. You have to know a great deal about the history of Egypt to do this. Have to be a university graduate. You speak how many languages?
English, French, German, and my Arabic.
Four languages. Wears a navy blue uniform.
Miss Waba, you should tell Mr. Daly about that Sphinx that's there, you know, that never talks. Right next to the pyramids.
It did talk.
Yes, at the Sound and Light show.
The Sphinx talk?
Yeah, at the Sound and Light show. I've been over there, Bennett. You don't think I'd let that keep quiet while I'm around, do you? Having your days now. No, it is a very interesting work. You must have met an awful lot of well-known people.
Yes, from all different parts of the world, and like King Hussein of Jordan, and Macarius of Crete, and Mrs. Gandhi, and Mr. Khrushchev. And
Any Americans?
Mr.
You remember?
One of the Rockefellers.
One of the Rockefellers. That's pretty
so
good.
Many.
That's pretty good. We have a lot of the Rockefellers here, but if they got all the way to Cairo, that must be one of the older ones, and the ones who've done better, wouldn't you say? No, I wouldn't think so. Well, it sounds like fascinating work, and thank you very much for coming to visit us while you're in America. It's nice to see you. We'll have another contestant for you in just a moment. Now will our next contestant walk in and please sign the board. Raymond Kester, is that right, sir? All right, Mr. Kester, where are you from?
Shrewsbury, Missouri.
Shrewsbury, Missouri. Well, now you see you've got a lot of them home folks here with you, so you've got a good clack going for you, and the two of us could take the whole panel on anyway, so don't worry about that. Mr. Kester, may I present the panel? All right, now you come over here and join me, and we'll let the audience at home and the audience in the theater know exactly what your line is. All right. Panel, we can tell you that Mr. Kester is salaried and he deals in a product, and we will begin things with Bennett Cerf.
Mr. Kester, I think they make the corncob pipes in Missouri, but may I eliminate corncob pipes from this?
Absolutely.
I can. Does the product that you make come from Missouri?
No. You mean it
Is it made in
originates there,
Missouri?
so you would
Yes.
identify it in
As a
Missouri
Missouri
immediately?
product.
No, you wouldn't, Bennett. That's one down and 9 to go, Miss Francis.
Do you work with your hands, Mr. Kester, in your
Yes.
job? Is the product alive, or has it ever been?
Yes.
John didn't know whether it was alive or not there for a minute.
Well, this is a problem because actually, you know, if we go down to fundamentals, everything has an element of life in it sooner or later. If Mr. Kester doesn't mind, only because I think it would tend to confuse you.
No, it won't.
It won't? You
No.
want to leave it stand as it is?
I'm not at all confused, John.
Yeah, all right, you go ahead then.
Is it a product that one would find in the home?
Could?
Is it a large product?
No. That makes it 2 down and 8 to go at Mr. Allen.
Then it must be smaller than a bread box.
Yes?
Has it any particular relationship with this time of year?
No, sir. 3 down and 7 to go. Helen Gurley Brown.
Mr. Kester, is it made of wood or metal?
No. That makes it 4 down and 6 to go. Mr. Cerf.
Might this product be defined as an article of apparel, Mr. Kester?
No. 5 down and 5 to go. Miss Francis.
Would one see it in the house more than one would out of doors?
Yes?
Is it, when it is in the house, is it visible? Would you have it out where people could see it?
Yes?
Or would it be considered, does it have anything at all to do with the decor of a house, the way a house looks?
You mean as a specific element of its decoration? Nah, all right, I'll give you a no
questioning
anyway.
me,
That's
John.
6 down and 4 to go, Mr. Allen.
Could it be purchased retail at a supermarket?
No, sir. Nope. 7 down and 3 to go, Miss Brown.
Does it come in various colors?
Yes?
Is it a useful product?
Yes?
Does it come in contact with the human body?
No? Well, there is...
Could it?
could. I think with Mr. Custis, we'll agree that it could. It's not unreasonable that if the product and you were in proximity, you might have contact with it, but it is not absolutely necessary.
Does one feel better after being in contact with this product? Is it...
I would think so, yes. Well, I think that depends on how you contacted it myself. But...
does it have... is it powered in any way?
No.
By a motor?
It has no motors of any kind. 8 down and 2 to go,
I
Mr.
don't
Cerf.
believe we've gotten around to whether this product can be eaten or imbibed.
We
Can it?
haven't.
Can it?
No. 9 down and 1 to go, Miss Francis.
If one had this product, would it be on the floor rather than on a wall?
Yes? Well, on the floor rather than on the wall, this product, but it shouldn't be either place, so I'm going to give you no. That's 10 down, no more to go.
Wouldn't be on the ceiling, would it?
No.
It has to be on something?
You know, actually, this is a real tough one, and you didn't get into the area which I think might have led you to it, because Mr. Kester makes billiard balls. And Mr. Kester makes, you know, the really championship kind. He's with a...
A.E. Smith Company.
A.E. Schmidt Company. He's been in the business since 18...
Well, for 116 years, and I've been with him for 40 years.
1850, then. And he's been with them for 40 years, and he hand makes ivory billiard balls, which are, you know, the best folks. They age the ivory. What kind of ivory do you get?
Zanzibar from Africa.
Africa, and then what? You age it how long?
After it's roughed out, all year to 2 years,
Yeah.
before we can put them for use.
But the thing that interested me most, looking this up, Mr. Kester affirms that as you use them, they tend to become oval-shaped. So you have to send them back. They send them back to you, and then he makes them round again.
Mr. Kester, are pool balls beneath your contempt?
Yeah.
You don't make pool balls.
No, we don't make those.
That's a Bennett, don't be bad. Don't feel unhappy. I'll find somebody who does. Yeah.
I'd like to donate this money I won to the Boys Town of Missouri of St. James, Missouri,
Well,
for
you
the Christmas. And I'd also have 2 ivory rings that I would like to present to the Mrs. Brown. And
Well, you go right ahead, and thanks very much for being with us, sir. We'll meet tonight's mystery guest in just a moment, but first, this message. And now the special feature of our program, the appearance of our mystery challenger, for which the panel is always blindfolded, as you know. The blindfolds in place, panel?
Yes, sir.
Good. Will you enter mystery challenger and sign in, please? All right. Panel, you will remember the different form of questioning, one question at a time, in turn moving clockwise. And we will begin with Arlene Francis.
Would your name be found in the theatrical pages of the newspaper?
Well, it's a possibility.
What?
Mr. Allen, it's a possibility, he said.
Are you better known for your work in motion pictures than for your work in television?
Yeah, well, I reckon so.
Miss Brown? Said, I reckon so.
Better known in motion pictures than in television. Are you in a motion picture that's going to be opening in New York this coming week?
Yeah.
Mr. Cerf?
Is it a great, big, spectacular, the picture that you're going to open in?
Well, there's been a little question about it.
Miss Francis?
Are you Steve McQueen?
That was a great voice. I'm just waiting for somebody to go off the track on it.
Yeah, you open tomorrow. Is it tomorrow night or Tuesday night?
Well, we have the premiere Tuesday night, yes.
Premiere Tuesday night, yeah. The Sandpebbles, huh?
Sandpebbles,
Yes.
yes. That was 9 months in the Orient.
Had a little trouble making that picture, didn't you?
Well, we had a few weather interferences, wind from Manchuria, and the tides went out, and 1,500 extras wearing wristwatches and a period piece. But other than that,
Wait a minute, Steve. You mean that you shot a scene and you had 1,500 extras wearing wristwatches and had to do it all over again? Huh?
well, we had a problem because there were 3 different dialects there, and we only had 1 interpreter, and it was in 1924, so the 1,500 extras had to be in period clothes, you see.
Yeah.
And they would constantly wear the wristwatches. They wouldn't take them off, you know. So they'd be flashing them up in the camera like this. You know, we had to stop, take it off, you know.
Did you say you spent 9 months out there?
We spent 4.5 months in Taiwan and Formosa and Keelung, Tamsui, places where actually people hadn't seen a movie, you know. And then we did about 4 months in 3.5 months in Kowloon in the New Territories.
Oh, yes.
About 2 months, 2 miles from the communist border, and that last 2 months was really, you know, it was a little scary.
Yeah, that's exciting up there.
Yeah.
But now, when you go out and work, you had 1,500 of the native population, the indigenous population, as extras?
Yes. Not in all scenes. Some of the scenes we had where the gunboat is coming in, we had 1,500 extras, yeah. All the wardrobe that we brought from Hollywood, some we made there, dressed them up so they would look the part, you see.
And do they take direction readily? I mean, I'm just interested. You have to work with such a mass of people who you had communications problems and speech, and yet they can get the feel of what you're trying to do and do it well.
Well, it was a bit difficult, but we had Bob Wise, so we kind of had it made. We had an awful good director and producer, but we had there were 3 dialects. There was the Cantonese, Chinese, and Taiwanese. Now, we had 1 interpreter who perhaps spoke Cantonese, so he would give the orders to the extras, you know, to do this, and the other ones didn't understand, you know, and then we'd be fighting about, well, why don't we have an interpreter, and it would keep going and going and going.
That's what well, it's an exciting story, and I'm sure it's made a great movie. Thanks for giving us a Sunday night when you're here in New York.
My pleasure.
Good to have you with us. Well, I must congratulate your panel on doing rather well with some tough subjects tonight. We'll have another contestant after this word. And now to meet a final contestant. Will you enter and sign in, please? Peter Hayes. Right, sir? Mr. Hayes, where are you from?
Newark, New Jersey.
Newark, New Jersey.
Yes.
Nice to have you come across the river. May I present the panel, Mr. Hayes? Now, will you join me here, and we'll let the audience in the theater and the audience at home know exactly what your line is. Panel, we can tell you that Mr. Hayes is salaried and deals in a service, and we'll begin things with Helen Gurley Brown.
Now, this one must have something to do with Christmas. Do you work for a profit-making organization?
Yes.
Do you deal with men and women in this particular service? With human beings as opposed to animals, I'll say?
No.
One down and 9 to go, Mr. Cerf.
Mr. Hayes, I just want to be sure you're no relation of Peter Hayes is married to that gloriously beautiful Mary Healy. Is that correct?
That's correct.
But you do have something to do with animals. Is that correct?
That's correct.
Is that a tie-up?
No tie-up, whatever. Are the animals alive when you're dealing with them?
Yes.
Are they what might be considered domestic animals?
No.
Let us have a small conference. Mr. Hayes agrees that you use the word domesticated, and we're taking it that you mean this on a universal basis. And we will agree that there are instances or there are areas in which the animal in question is domesticated, yes.
Is it a four-legged animal, Mr.
Yes.
Hayes? Is it a rather large animal?
Yes.
Is it a very, very large animal?
What is a very, very large animal?
An elephant.
An elephant is a very, very large?
I didn't ask an elephant, but you asked me of a large animal, and I described a large animal as an elephant.
Well, now, what else would you describe as a large animal?
A hippopotamus, a rhinoceros,
So that you're in
a giraffe.
In that context. All right, well, I think just so that you're not misled, we'll agree it's a large animal, yes.
Is it an animal that is sometimes found in the wilderness?
You mean out in the veldt?
Yeah, the wide,
That's all
wide, wide veldt.
Wide veldt? Yeah, you find it out in the wide veldt, right?
Yes.
Might this animal be found in Africa?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Is it sometimes dangerous, this animal?
Can be, yes.
It could be if aroused, but then even you're dangerous when you're aroused. Right?
Can I eliminate lions and tigers?
Yes.
Can I eliminate the cat family, leopards and animals of that sort?
Yes.
Can I eliminate giraffes?
Yes.
Can I eliminate elephants?
Yes.
And rhinoceri and hippopotami?
You
Yes.
certainly can.
And it's a four-legged animal.
Right.
I'll pass.
You've left me with nothing but the gorilla. Is it an animal we see in a zoo?
Yep.
Yes.
We're running out of time, Arlene. Take
I'm
a
running
guess.
out. We've run out of
Take a guess.
animals,
Take a
too.
guess.
Could it be reindeer or camel?
Camel is
Oh,
right.
a camel.
Very good. But Mr. Hayes wins. Actually, Mr. Hayes handles the camel in the Christmas stage show at Radio City Music Hall. That's his specialty. He's employed by an outfit called Animal Talent Scouts, and he's in the show and handles his own camel through it. And that's a lucky strike if I ever saw one. And thank you very much for being our guest on What's My Line. Nice to see you. Miss Helen and Steve, again, nice to have you with us. And Christmas is coming up, so Merry Christmas and Happy New Year and all that sort of thing. And good night, Arlene Francis.
Thank you, John. Good night, dear Steve. My best to Jane.
Thank you. Same to Marty. Good night, Helen Gurley Brown.
Good night,
John.
Steve. Good night, Bennett.
No. For Christmas, John, I'm going to sing you Winchester Cathedral. Good night.
Well, I'd rather he did it for Christmas because it'd be a terrible way to start a new year. That's all I got to say. And thanks to all of you for being with us on What's My Line.